New Orleans Saints rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler and growing throughout the preseason and much more, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spencer Rattler, your QB2, as far as I'm concerned. Saints rookie quarterback who had a stellar preseason. This is after the preseason game against the Titans, the preseason finale. Some would say this is presented to you by New Orleans Football. The king of the hats, Spencer Rattler, just the greatest hat collection. I mean, he has the greatest New Orleans Saints hat collection of all time. I thought I had a decent hat collection. His is out of control. I need to figure out where he's getting these lids because I need to obviously up my game.
Spencer, just I guess how weird is it to kind of like have to shuttle back in and out, and then how do you feel like you handled that kind of not normal?
Yeah, a lot of people talked about that, like how they basically rotated quarterbacks every possession. I thought it was kind of weird just because in any athletic situation, it's hard to like stay loose, stay warm. So when you're doing something and then you stop and you have to sit for, depending on how long the possessions are, upwards of 15 minutes, whatever, of real time, that seems to me like it would be an injury increase. I was kind of surprised to see that. It's like in baseball, like you would never have a pitcher pitch and then sit out the next inning and then pitch. You wouldn't pitch the first, sit the second, pitch the third, sit the fourth. That just seems like you're asking for trouble there. I think it was kind of just keep them uncomfortable, or I don't know what the exact idea was, but I was kind of surprised by that as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just trying to keep your rhythm throughout the game, going quarter by quarter. I felt like as a group we did really good on, I think we scored on every drive, a couple touchdowns and some, field goals. So as a group, we converted on third down much better and finished in the red zone and had more explosive plays, ran the ball. Oh,
real quick. I'm filming this video on cut day. So the New Orleans Saints are announcing a ton of cuts. Edward Scissorhand type situation here today. I'm not really going to cover it. It happens. I don't think it really matters. Like when I hear people's names who are cut, they're cut for a reason. If you're not making the roster, you ain't making one of my videos. You know what I'm saying? So one thing I will note is that before you freak out about a name who is cut, make sure to understand the designation. So the NFL has a lot of loopholes. You can place players on IR to kind of save them from being cut. You can cut players to then sign back onto the practice squad to then elevate once rosters expand. There's a lot happening. So if you see a player cut, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are done in New Orleans. Like Charlie Smith, the kicker, is an example where almost certainly he'll be signed back with the practice squad. So even though he's cut, is his time in New Orleans done? No. But yeah, I'm not going to make it. I'm seeing some people with like 25-minute videos on cuts. We ain't doing that. But I did want to reference it because it is a big day. So if you want to know who's being cut, two people I follow for that is Mike Triplett and Nick Underhill with New Orleans Football. So go check out their Twitters. They've been spamming stuff all day about who's getting cut and some of the ramifications.
All well, threw the ball down the field, and thought it was a good, efficient game.
Can you kind of walk us through that touchdown to St. Brown? Was that a zone they were in?
Yeah, they zoned it out. The ball wasn't supposed to go there, but he made it. He ran a great route. I trusted him. Put it where I needed to, and he made a heck of a play. So, that's how we're taught, play the play. But when you got to go above X's and O's, you got to improvise sometimes.
There you go.
Spencer, you think you did enough to be the number 2 guy here?
I just.
Good question. So that's one of those questions where it's uncomfortable to ask because it is a question that comes with a lot of implications or whatever. But I'm interested to see how Spencer handles this. Great question from whoever the reporter was. You definitely, that's what you want to ask for sure.
Just put my best foot forward. Wanted to come out here and play well, play clean, protect the ball, and lead our team to scores. I'm controlling what I can. That's not up to me to decide, but just putting my best foot forward.
That's a good answer. I want to go back to the previous answer when he talks about we're taught to play the play. I've talked about that before. That is a hallmark of this offense, where the plays are called for a reason. Sean Payton does this too. I know they're separate offenses, but a lot of coaches, they call a play and they want you to run that play. They are calling that play because it's part of a domino effect. That's why Peyton and Russell Wilson did not get along, is that Russell Wilson improvised a lot, and Peyton does not like that. And systems like this, whether it's Miami or the Rams or San Francisco or the Saints, the Niners are the worst whenever Brock Purdy is running all over the place and he's rolling out on his own, or he's trying to improvise and make stuff happen. That works for certain teams. That does not work for these kinds of offenses. That's good news for Derek Carr, because we don't want Derek Carr improvising. We want Derek Carr to play the play, as Spencer Rattler said. We want him to get out there, make the throw, make the read, trust the play call, and that's it. Last year, whole lot of improvising, whole lot of, here's the play call. It's a very basic situation. Who the hell even knows if Pete Carmichael's watching the game? And then bad things happen. So, and that's nothing against Carr. Like, telling your quarterback, I don't want you to improvise, I think that's great, because that shows confidence in the scheme. It shows confidence in the play caller, and it shows that the play caller has a plan. He's doing something for a reason. That's what you want to see. So it's nothing against Carr. It's not saying that Carr can't improvise. It's just saying that it's better if he doesn't. It's better if he does not, because it means he can trust this offense and lean into this offense and rely on that.
How do you think you've grown through the 3 preseason games and this training camp?
Yeah, I think tremendously. I mean, obviously still a rookie, still learning. Definitely want a few plays back from today, just on a couple underthrown balls. But, I feel like I've taken steps where I need to, and obviously not anywhere near where I want to be. So continuing to strive for perfection every day.
So
that's a good answer too. And, Rattler and a lot of the players in his position, a lot of backups who aren't going to start this year but do need to make a name for themselves and do need to show something. This was the Super Bowl. Like, the 3 preseason games is when you want to make that name. And Rattler did. He had 2 good to great games, and he had 1 game that I'm sure he would love to play again. But he did what he had to do. He did his job. He was good. His job this training camp and this preseason was to validate that he can be on an NFL roster. He's a 5th-round pick. I know we talk about him a lot here, but if you're a 5th-round pick and you come out and you're throwing interceptions and you're Trey Lance and you throw 5 picks in a game or whatever, and that's a good way to get cut. That's a good way to have the team pivot away from you. So the fact that Rattler came in, validated the pick, validated why he was taken in the 5th round, what the Saints saw from him, showed that he has the physical tools and more importantly, that his physical tools can translate. A lot of quarterbacks have good physical tools, but they cannot use those tools. They can't translate those tools into success in the NFL. The Titans have a guy like that in Malik Willis. Malik Willis has a ton of physical tools. That's why he was drafted. Problem is, they can't translate. He cannot translate those tools over. Happens all the time. Certain players can, certain players can't. So to see Rattler prove that he can do it, if I'm in the front office, I'm absolutely high-fiving. I'm a standing ovation. And Rattler did mention another important part is that he's nowhere near where he wants to be. And that's been my whole thing, is that a lot of people are saying, like, start him. Start him. We want to see him. He's the QB1. No, he's not. Right now, he is a below average to bad starting NFL quarterback. That is the facts. What he is a promising rookie quarterback. That's it. But you got to develop that. You got to develop the potential. You got to develop all of that stuff before you can become a good NFL starter. He is nowhere near his peak. He's nowhere near his ceiling. I think Rattler can develop, and I think he's got a lot more in the tank. So I'm right there with him there, where we're all excited. People are rewatching the preseason games and rewatching the game-winning drives and rewatching his touchdown pass against the Titans. They're rewatching that before they go to sleep every night, and that's okay. But if you think that's good, hopefully there's a lot more good to come later on.
Derek talking to you after you threw that touchdown pass, what was he telling you following the drive?
Oh, he's just, he's our biggest fan out there, which is why I love him. Great dude. He was in my ear all game, telling me what he saw, what type of situations we're in. So to have a guy like that in the room, is great. So he's awesome.
How much different is it coming off the bench as opposed to starting?
I mean, you kind of just got to do what you got to do. It's really not a big deal to me. Just whenever you step on the field, give your best foot. Put your best foot forward and go make plays. So, I love to be on the field as much as I can, but when we're out there, we got to execute.
Have you figured anything out about like how to stay sharp or ready, or I'm assuming like the preparation's a little bit different given that you're going in at a different time.
Yeah, I mean just keeping your legs warm and then just having somebody to throw with on the sideline. That's what I've done since youth football. My dad's always like, you need to throw on the sideline. You need to throw on the sideline. So if you see me do that, just know I'm getting loose.
There you go. What did you think of Cabote's day today?
He had a great day. That's a guy that's been working his.
He was waived. Cabote was waived, so. Yeah, we hardly knew ye.
Tail off all camp. I'm really close with Cabote. Happy for him. Happy.
Again, does that mean he'll be on the practice squad or whatever? Who knows? But I do know he was part of the cuts.
He got 2 touchdowns today. He ran the ball really well. Protected well and was running through some people. So I'm happy.
Which also shows the dog-eat-dog world of the NFL, where you can have 2 touchdowns, you can run like a man possessed in the last preseason game, feel great about it, and then 48 hours later, you get told, hey, man, see ya. You're out of here. So, tough. Very hard to make a roster. Very, very difficult.
I'm happy for him.
Any difference for you having played down on the sideline versus up in the booth?
I liked him on the sideline, I thought he called a great game. I thought he did a great job.
Mentioned Cabote's day. We know that having an effective run game obviously helps the passing game, but just for you in your position, how does that help you mentality-wise when you have this run game that's kind of cooking throughout the day?
Yeah,
we talked about this yesterday, or in whatever video it was a couple days ago or yesterday. Spencer Rattler came from a pretty average to below average team at South Carolina and a horrific offensive line. He's one of the guys where the Saints' run game that we consider kind of whatever, he probably thinks this is great. I can hand the ball off, pick up 5-6 yards. Sometimes we can run the ball for the first down. So Rattler probably, that's one of those things where he's kind of seeing that he did not see last year in college.
I mean, if you look at it on first and second down, if we could be in second and manageable, third and short from those runs, I mean, it's a lot easier to convert on third down. I feel like
and Clint Kubiak also talked about that. Kubiak's talked about staying ahead of the chains, and he doesn't want to be in 2nd and 10s and 3rd and 9s, which obviously a good running game stops that. If you're running the ball early and successfully, that's a good way to get yourself into 3rd and 3s and 2nd and 5s and picking up 3rd and 2s.
We didn't have too many 3rd and longs today, and if we did, I feel like we converted at a pretty high rate. But when we're in those 3rd and manageables, because we're running the ball so well, that opens up quick game, play actions, boots, QB runs, all that stuff. So if we can run the ball, that makes it a lot easier to get first downs.
Spencer, where are you at in the offense right now? How comfortable do you feel with the playbook? And, I'm sure you've been through it now multiple times.
Yeah, very, very comfortable, out there. Thought our operation was really clean. Up front, the guys did a great job today. In the O-line, running backs, receivers made plays. Everybody did well as a group today. Our operation was great.
That part is interesting about the question, because in this specific situation, which is a bit of a perfect storm, even though he's a rookie, Rattler has had just about as much time in this system as anyone else on the team. You could argue, because of how much he's played in the preseason compared to Carr, you could argue that Spencer Rattler might be the most familiar with this system in the quarterback room, or the most familiar really on the offense, since he is a quarterback and he's got to know everyone's job. But that doesn't usually happen. Like Rattler, from getting drafted to playing a lot in the preseason, especially in game-winning moments and big moments and all that, he has been in and out of the huddle way more than Derek Carr, and as far as like live game. So you tack on the rookie mini camps, you tack on all of that. It's a kind of a flip-flop where Rattler, even though he's a rookie, is kind of the expert in the room when it comes to this offense.
Execution was great, and our communication was elite, I thought.
If you had to play in a regular season game, would you feel confident going in?
Yeah, of course.
I would never say I'm not confident. Yeah. I'm always confident, but again, I'm going to sit in my role, do what I need to do, and keep learning and getting better.
Have you thought at all about how you're going to kind of attack the season and try to develop and all that stuff?
Yeah, just develop as much as I can. Learn from the guys in the room. Obviously, it starts with Derek. He's our guy, great player. So staying in his ear, working with him and Jake and our coaches, and just continuing to improve every day and get closer and closer with the team.
Just something that's like hard for. I mean, not everybody who comes from college or they're a starter at college is going to be a starter in the NFL. So like, you have to, I don't know, adjust your mindset, I guess, when you're kind of going into this situation.
No, I mean, I think this is a awesome situation to be behind.
Question was a damn riddle. I was having trouble following what was going on.
Somebody like Derek. I mean, he's a great guy. Again, a great vet who's proven in this league. I was in a situation similar at Oklahoma when Jalen Hurts was the starter. So very comfortable learning as much as I can and trying to help get guys better.
Might you think that time behind Hurts helps you down with the transition behind Carr and maybe Haener as well?
Yeah, I think just controlling what you can.
That was a long time ago. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot there. But it is crazy to think about the players that Rattler has been behind or around, pause. But the Jalen Hurts, the Caleb Williams, now like in the NFL, he's behind Derek Carr. Like he's been rubbing shoulders with some high-level players for a long time. Like Jalen Hurts almost won an MVP in a Super Bowl. Caleb Williams was the Heisman winner, first overall pick, looked sensational. And Derek Carr is an 11-year NFL veteran. So even though Rattler has only been in the NFL for a couple months, he's been around. And then you factor in that his coaches. So you factor in that he was coached by Lincoln Riley, arguably one of the best offensive minds in college, probably the best quarterback whisperer in college. At one point, I was saying that the Dallas Cowboys, and I probably still believe this, but I was saying the Dallas Cowboys should just write a blank check and hire Lincoln Riley as their head coach instead of Big Mike. And Jerry went in a different direction. But, yeah, I mean, Rattler it's a very unique story that he has. I mean, and we've talked about this a zillion times, but high school number one, Elite 11 winner, number one recruit, Oklahoma, favorite to win the Heisman, favorite to be the number one overall pick. Again, all of a sudden he's in a quarterback room with Jalen Hurts. All of a sudden he's being coached by Lincoln Riley. Then all of a sudden he's in the quarterback room with Caleb Williams. Then he transfers, goes to the SEC where he has a porous offensive line, whatever, but still somehow beats Clemson and Tennessee, gets drafted in the 5th round to New Orleans. He's behind Derek Carr. Like it's just a real whirlwind. I mean, this guy, for a rookie quarterback, it's crazy the amount of depth that we have to his story. That's
what it comes down to, controlling the controllables. Like I said, earlier, playing your best ball when you have the opportunity to, helping your team. So that's all I try to do, for real. So just going out there and putting my best foot forward.
What did you think of playing in the Dome?
It was awesome. Great environment.
It's another good question. This is his first game in the Superdome. Fans were there, so it's always interesting, man, some of the questions that come out of this, but there have been some good ones in this one.
Fans are awesome. Energy was high. You could feel it. It was great.
And speaking of playing in the Dome, what can you tell me about just the whole process of transitioning from college to the NFL over the course of the mini camps and training camp and these 3 preseason games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, speed of the game, playbook-wise.
I do that all the time, ironically. Whenever you lead with, hey, speaking of this, and then you ask something that has absolutely no relation to what you said you were speaking of. Like, speaking about playing the Dome, tell me about the transition of college to the NFL. It's like, wait, why'd you say the thing about the Dome? Speaking about macaroni and cheese, what do you think about Derek Carr as a starting quarterback? Wait, what? What did you say about the mac and cheese?
I mean, obviously there's going to be transitions and learning curves and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, football is football, and you got to roll the ball out and make plays and execute. So you can't overthink it. So just play ball.
Is there like 1 or 2 things from like day 1 of rookie camp to now that you feel like I really got better at this, or I learned this, or this was eye-opening, or anything like that?
I think just communication. I think that's one of the biggest parts, because you got to get out the huddle first very cleanly, and get up to the line and operate, and then just handling situations in the game. 2 minutes. Key critical situations to get us points. I think that's where you take steps as a player, and credit to our coaches and how we work at practice, because we work those every day. So when you get in the game, you can't flinch.
Do you get a sense at all of the fan base and your kind of phenomenon, if you will, right now with fans? Have you run into people in the city since you've been back?
Yeah, I mean, fan base is awesome here, obviously. Kind of reminds me of South Carolina, just loving fan base. Not the biggest market, but they die for their players, which is an awesome feeling. I try my best to stay out the way, social media and all the buzz and all that stuff. So I work here, I'm new, I'm a rookie. I'm just trying to get better, improve, help the team.
Again, that's a very unique situation for someone to be in because Rattler's up there right now with the rookie quarterbacks that have buzz around him. Even he has more buzz currently around him, I think, than the Drake Mays and the J.J. McCarthy's and players like that. McCarthy's hurt, obviously, which hurt his buzz. But May, I think there's more questions around him than buzz, if you will. Obviously, a ton of buzz around Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. And Bo Nix has had a good preseason. But Rattler's right there. And I was talking about this with a friend the other day. But they were asking about what I thought about Rattler and what I thought about just his future and the plan. And my answer was, yeah, he's a fifth-round pick, but he's also the 7th quarterback taken, and 6 quarterbacks were taken in the first round. So is Rattler 5 rounds different than Bo Nix? Probably not. Is he 5 rounds different than being taken 6th, or the 6th quarterback taken, or the 5th quarterback taken, or what have you? No. It's crazy that there was that much of a gap in between where he was taken and where the 6th quarterback was taken. So I just think it's a great situation for everyone involved, and I keep this is a huge storyline. I'll tell you that if you're a Saints fan, because right now you are looking at the quarterback of the future. Whether he becomes the quarterback of the future, time will tell. But right now he's the plan. And I can go ahead and tell you that's how front offices look at things. Front offices look at windows. They look at eras, windows, chapters, however you want to phrase it, and they balance the books. They line up contracts. They line up all of that with windows. Spencer Rattler right now is making the front office consider his window as, okay, we can win. Like we believe that the quarterback of the future is in the building. So I can go ahead and tell you exactly what the conversations are right now. Loomis and whoever are sitting there having a conversation, and the conversation is, if Spencer Rattler continues developing how he's developing, then we're going to probably hand him the keys to the car, no pun intended, more than likely somewhere in the middle to end of Carr's 3rd season in New Orleans, as long as there's not an absolute disaster this year. So what that does is, first thing you do is you change Carr's contract, because he's not going to be here for 4 years, right? So you restructure his contract and you figure out how you're going to get out of it, or how you're going to deal with that side of it. But then you also say, okay, well, if Rattler's era starts that would be in 2 seasons, Rattler would be the starting quarterback. Then you line up the rest of the contracts. So you say, okay, who is on the books in 2 seasons? Who do we have to deal with in 2 seasons? Is Lattimore going to be here? What can we get from him to help Rattler? Or what are we going to recoup? And you start moving those puzzle pieces around. You, as a front office, you don't think of it week to week. You don't think of it season to season. You have to think of it long term in these big contract blocks, these big eras or windows or whatever it is. Right now, I can go ahead and promise you the conversations are being had of how do we best position this team to win and succeed when Rattler takes over. Now, again, he could have an awful year next year. He could have an awful, whatever, and then be out of there. Same with Mac Jones. Mac Jones, in Mac Jones' first season, I guarantee you the Patriots were having the conversation of, okay, how do we prop up this next era or this next window, whatever with Mac Jones? And then 2 years later, he's in Jacksonville. So just because you're talking about it doesn't mean it's going to become true, but that is something that we should be thinking of as Saints fans, is the fact that we have this kind of linear path here from Carr to Rattler.
The hat guy. Seems like you always have these great hats.
Oh, who's that?
I got to keep it secret.
Wow.
So I work here, I'm new, I'm a rookie. I'm just trying to get better, improve, help the team.
Do you have a hat guy? Seems like you always have these great hats.
Was that Mike Triplett? Mike, brother, you credit me next time. Damn. I unbelievable. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen this hat on my Instagram ads, and I might have to get it. I don't know if I could pull this one off though.
I gotta keep it.
Maybe. Hats always look great until you get the hat and then you put it on. You're like, man, this hat fits awful. I have a Caesar Sportsbook hat. Love the hat. Everything about the hat I like. It was given to me by Caesars. But anyways, the funny story. I was at. They were doing like a giveaway, and you had to make a bet, and depending on the size of your bet, you could get like merch, and it was like a Huggy, and it was like a hat, and I can't remember what else they had, and it was on a Sunday. It was during an NFL Sunday, and I remember I showed the lady who was working the booth. I was like, "Do I have to make the bet here, or can I just show you bets I've made?" And she was like, "You can just show me your bet slip." So I showed her my app, and she was like, "Those are all today?" I said, "Yeah, this is like 11:30. The game's about to kick off." And she said, "Well, just take whatever you want off the table. Take as many as you want. Take whatever." So I took a hat. Didn't want to take too much, So I took a hat. But the hat is the worst fitting hat of all time. It looks like a Doug Dimmadome or whatever. It had, like the hat, this part of the hat, this part, it goes like this high. It's ridiculous. I don't know if it looks like a baseball helmet, but it's like this part is so high up. So I can't even wear it. I love it, but I can't wear it. It's the worst. It's awful. And it's green, obviously. So I can't even wear it during videos because the green screen, I wouldn't have a top of my head. So there you go. Spencer Rattler, the Hat King. New Orleans football tangents left to right in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you in the next